Andrew Dick, Andrew Dick, Andrew Dick, Andrew Dick. Come on, Andrew Dick, Andrew Dick, Andrew Dick, Andrew Dick. Late night with Andrew Dick. Come on, people, let's watch the show. Late night with Andrew Dick. He's the number one in St. Martin. Late night with Andrew Dick. Come on, people, let's watch the show. Late night with Andrew Dick. He's the number one in St. Martin. Late night with Andrew Dick. Keep you informed with all the topics. If you need to know what's all happening, tune in to Andrew Dick. He's the king when it comes to politics and more. Late night with Andrew Dick is the show. If you got stress and need to laugh, Andrew Dick, he is in charge. Late night with Andrew Dick. Come on, people, let's watch the show. Late night with Andrew Dick. Come on, people, let's watch the show. Late night with Andrew Dick. Come on, people, just watch the show. Late night with Andrew Dick. He is the number one in St. Martin.
Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick. Okay, what's happening on the lovely island of St. Martin? The 2022-2023 Parliamentary Year is open. I know, doesn't really mean much to you. A lot has been happening as far as the Parliament is concerned, meaning nothing absolutely. The governor was present, Eugene Holiday, his last hurrah. This is his last parliamentary meeting as the governor of St. Martin. And I must say, as you can see, he did the usual walk in with the wifey, and then he went upstairs to the House of Parliament, where he spoke to a room full of people, and he was able to basically give the plans of the government. I could tell you something, that the plans that they have are the same plans that they had 3 years ago. No, I should say 2 years ago, because last year don't count because you have to put in COVID. They didn't do a opening of Parliament like that. But same exact plans. Prosperity for the people, making sure that we take care of our own, making sure that St. Martin people continue to rise. I swear to God, Disneyland 101. Listen, don't take my word for it. Take a look at the speech, just a little bit because it was long.
Central to government's policy agenda for the coming year is to link and bring all ongoing projects, as mentioned in the country package, under the umbrella of the National Development Vision. Government is therefore currently planning an inclusive launch of the National Development Vision. This launch will ensure that all partners, internal and external, are included in the outcome. It ensures that policy measures are consistent within the context of our nation island. Noteworthy is that the first steps towards developing St. Martin's National Development Plan under the current National Development Vision have been taken. The goal is to present the National Development Plan in the first part of 2023. This should improve St. Martin's chances of anchoring a sustainable future. Important prerequisites for national development include, first, taking steps to have the data necessary for monitoring and evaluation, as well as to having the necessary structures in place to do so. And second, capacity building and strengthening of the public administration. Both, therefore, constitute major components of government's reforms as reflected in the implementation agenda. The results from the population census, which is scheduled to be completed this year, is expected to provide important data input for the National Development Plan. And capacity building is envisioned from a multi-pronged approach, namely strengthening of local expertise and technical assistance to support the development of the action points. Government is at the same time investing in its ICT infrastructure. From an ICT perspective, government will continue focusing on strengthening the organization's infrastructure, improving the cybersecurity environment, and digitizing business processes. In that regard, the emphasis for the remainder of 2022 and the start of 2023 will be on 1, improving disaster recovery and business continuity. 2, introducing additional security features, including a cyber security awareness program. And 3, continued digitization to improve the efficiency of service delivery. Madam Chairlady, members of Parliament, capacity building must start with our children by offering quality learning opportunities in terms of education facilities and programs. The government is therefore working on the implementation of the $26.8 million Fostering Resilient Learning project funded by the Trust Fund at the World Bank. The grant agreement for this project was signed in June of this year, and the project is comprised of the following key components. 1, rebuilding inclusive schools. 2, restoring library services. 3, strengthening of the management information system in education, culture, youth, and sports. 4, contingent emergency response. And 5, the management of the project.
Okay, so there you had it. Let's get to the real issues. What's happening in the rest of St. Martin while nobody really paid attention to the opening of Parliament. The GEBE saga continues, and this one's sweet. Why it's sweet? Because how is it that only on St. Martin we had to call the police to go and remove a COO? This is remarkable. The shareholder, which is the government of St. Martin, saying GEBE COO, you messed up. Mind you, this is the same government that recently appointed him as the COO. Stay with me now. Yes, they appoint him 2 weeks ago, and now 2 weeks later, they're like, you know what? Let's suspend him. I kid you not. St. Martin is a real place. Or is it? I don't think so. Anyway, so today, the police had to be called to the offices of GEBE so that Mr. Temer and Ms. Danielle could be escorted off the property because their suspension supposed to gone into effect since Monday. However, they have a little problem. The problem is that seeing that he has a contract for 5 years that recently was approved, he went through a rigorous screening process. He passed it. They gave him the contract. So that means if you're going to suspend him or ultimately fire him, he has a very good case for 5 years of salary. And where we getting that from? GEBE. Let's continue milking the cow. Okay, wait a minute now. Ms. Cherie Danielle, the temporary, almost temporary manager. She is still officially an auditor at GEBE. So you just can't just suspend her like that, because you could suspend her as a temporary manager, but then she goes back to her original job. So now, the temporary crisis manager, Troy Washington, supposed to come in now and suspend Ms. Danielle. Yeah, go figure. So let's see how this plays out. The Prime Minister is supposed to be back in the Parliament this week to answer the rest of the questions. I know some people were saying, oh, you know, they're going to come with a motion of no confidence. It doesn't work like that. The first round already passed. The second round is where she has to come and answer the questions. In order for a motion of no confidence to be presented for that particular meeting, they had to mention it. At least anybody who wanted to file a motion should at least mention that a motion was coming for the second round. And then the second round, they read the motion, and then we go to the voting. But at the same time, the coalition is supposed to be strong. Yeah? Okay. So we're going to continue to watch this GEBE situation, but it's not getting better. Meanwhile, the 15th is coming up. So those persons who've been getting away with not paying GEBE, cut it, cut it, cut it. It come in, so you best go and make that payment plan right away, even though they are not doing a payment plan. Yes, I'm making sense, because the Prime Minister said, go and make a payment plan if you can't pay. But then GEBE announced that they're not doing a payment plan. So what to do? You tell me. I just can't make this thing up. It's right here. It's happening. Unlovely St. Martin. You gotta love it. All right, welcome to the Late Night Show. We have a good one for you. Today we're gonna focus a little bit more on the meeting we had last week in Parliament. So we have a good one for you. Let's begin.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Here are a few tips to remember to help keep you and your family safe. Hurricane winds can cause trees and branches to fall. So before a hurricane strikes, trim or remove damaged trees and limbs to keep you and your property safe. This hurricane season, secure loose rain gutters and downspouts and clear any clogged areas or debris to prevent water damage to your property. This public service announcement was brought to you by the Government of St. Martin.